No mistakes have been made. Can we know that? And you know that you really have not made a mistake in God. When you're in that consciousness, that understanding. Nothing's a mistake, for every action has taken you to this present moment.
That's right.
That's right. That every action has taken to you where you are sitting right now in this place. And just by calling it a mistake, you're shaming the past. Oh, or you could be. I'm going to put that into your head. Maybe not be doing that. But calling it a mistake could be opening the door to your own regrets, feeling less than worthy, feeling separate from the divine. As we sang in our opening hymn, as Deborah also sang with us, it's like I'm raising the veil and lifting this artificial scrim, this separation that keeps me from experiencing all of life. Love. Peace. How many people want peace? Yeah. Do our behaviors match that? We create our life with our thoughts. So if we think that we've made all these mistakes, we might be dwelling on the mistakes rather than the success that got us here. Right? So if everything is creative, it's our third unity principle, that our thoughts create. But we also talk about it at a deeper level. It's just not thoughts, because we all have random thoughts, right? Oh, it's sunny. It's not. It's sunny. It's raining. I don't like the weather. I want to go to Hawaii. Right? All those are thoughts. But beliefs are what drive our behaviors, what drive our life. And then even on a deeper level, feelings. So when we feel shame about a mistake, when we feel sad about an outcome, when we feel devastated by a loss, those feelings are literally coloring our life and taking away what we all raised our hand and said we wanted, peace. If we want peace, maybe we need to stop attacking ourselves for the mistakes we made in the past. Loving What Is, the work of Byron Katie, is one of the most powerful tools I've ever encountered that helps us to understand how to release, literally just open our hands and release those erroneous beliefs. To shift the feelings by changing the thought base that's prompting them. And it's in such a gentle and fun-filled way. Here's what it is. If you've never heard of it, the first thing you get to do is judge your neighbor. Who's in? Right? Ooh, why did they choose that outfit? Right? So you get to have this fun-filled experience of taking a piece of paper and writing down what you don't like about someone else. Doesn't that sound like fun? I actually have some sheets. I'm going to ask Marty and a couple other people to help me pass these out so everybody has their own. You get to judge your neighbor here today. Not exactly what you thought would happen at church, I know. But it's true. You get to do it. Cool. So the first thing is you judge your neighbor. Right? So there's a part on the slip that says, I have to get glasses today because I scratched my cornea yesterday and my contacts don't work. I am, and it's blank, and it says fill in an emotion. I am angry, disappointed, infuriated, whatever emotion comes to you, sad, with, and then that person's name and why. Right? So you have an opportunity to do just that. To judge your neighbor. And I want you to take that opportunity. Okay? So it can be really simple. And angry with Bob because he hurt me. Okay? Angry with Jane because she lied to me. Anyone having problem finding something?
Are there bigger slips?
Yeah, oh yeah, there's a whole worksheet you can use this afternoon. And they're all free. on thework.com. So one of the fun things about it too is like, if you're having trouble because you've done a lot of the forgiveness work already and you feel like you're really clear, it's all right, give yourself a break and just go back in time to that time and place when you were angry. Right? The great thing about this process is that it doesn't have to be right now. Remember when you were holding that resentment and see if there's anything still there and see if you can write it down. Just go back in time and remember that resentment. Okay? So, as we go along in today's work, as we go along in today's process, I'm going to ask you to do your own work there with that sheet which you're filling out, but also I'll have you interact with the whole group of us here. So, there's a question I want to ask everybody. So, and we'll use this to do the work in general. So, who needs more money? Raise a hand if you need more money. Okay? Okay. So the next step, so we've all identified we need some more money. There's a fair amount of people in this room, and I would guess on the planet, that think they need more money. So the next step is, so you judge your neighbor, write it down, ask 4 questions, and then turn it around. Ask 4 questions and turn it around. So the first question we're going to ask, and I'm going to do this on I need more money. So everybody that was playing with that, play with that idea. And even if you did, play along with your sheet. I need more money. First question, is that true? Now the first 2 questions have to be a 1-syllable answer. Right? So 1 syllable, yes, no. I need more money. Is that true? Anybody want to answer?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So you quantitatively need more money. Can you know that that's absolutely true? No. Can you say who said that? So Frank, so why can't you know that you absolutely need more money?
Because I'm fine right now.
Right. You're sitting here right now, right? And you have everything you need. Did you eat breakfast this morning?
Yes.
Yes. Are you comfortable in the new chairs? Yes. If I had asked this a couple months ago in the old chairs, he'd say, yes, I need a new seat. And he's got a teddy bear, and you got your honey next to you. Right. So, can you absolutely know? So, there's an opening there. But it doesn't matter whether the answer is yes or no. Your answer may be, yes, I need more money. Well, let me ask you something. Is it actually possible for any of us to have more money than we have? Right now, is it actually possible for you to have more money than you actually have right now?
No.
So what you're either doing is looking back at your past when you needed more money yesterday to pay a bill or to do something you wanted, or you're looking forward to the future where you're projecting, I need this, I want to achieve that, I need this. And so, as we say in the program, when you have 1 foot in the past and 1 foot in the future, you're nowhere in the present. So, you actually can't have more money than you have right now in any given moment. And it just may be an indication to you that you're not in the present moment. You're not. But more importantly, take a look at how you feel. Close your eyes for a moment. And remember a time, even if it wasn't your answer today, remember a time when you felt you needed more money. Right? Now notice what that does to your body. Notice how that thought changes your behavior. Notice how your life shifts. How do you treat your employers, people who work for you? How do you interact with others when you believe the thought that you need more money? Anybody? How do you behave? Needy. Needy. That's very attractive, isn't it? That always seems to attract more money. I need it! Graspy, right? Yeah. Anxious, right? Worried. Right? And what is the parable of Jesus? There's not one ounce of worrying that has changed anything. Do not be anxious for today. Right? So this isn't new. 2,000 years ago he was talking about that. Consider the lilies of the field. They toil, they sweat, but they have more than Solomon. We're not in the present moment. Notice what it does to your whole body. No, imagine for a second if you could let go of that thought that you need more money. What would you be without the thought? Take a second, take a deep breath. And know, what would you be without the thought, I need more money?
Accepting myself.
Accepting yourself. Whew, what a radical idea, right? Oh, you are gorgeous. What else would you do if you knew that you didn't need more money?
Be relieved.
Relieved.
Peace.
Peace. There it is. The peace, right? That we said we wanted at the beginning. And yet our thoughts literally are the thing that's blocking our peace in life. Our thoughts are literally what's doing it. Byron talks about it this way.
The way to peace, self-realization, realizing yourself, the creator of all life in the moment. For example, you wake up, you go, I am. You have just believed you in. And that's not right or wrong. We're just noticing. And in that noticing, we become responsible, self-realized.
Right? In that noticing, you can choose. I look forward to this day and filled with energy. Or is your first thought, oh, another day. I'm creaky, I'm old, my body hurts. Like, oh, joy. Well, you know, my 2-year-old wakes up like so happy. It's obnoxious. It's like crawls into bed and pries my eyes open and says, "Wake up, Daddy!" It's a new day. And maybe I should follow our example and go to bed at 8 o'clock at night. Oh, I'm not staying up binge watching House of Cards. And then we learn to let go, right? One of our favorite sayings around here, we sing the song all the time, I release and I let go, right? When we can really let go, we're really able to understand that it's all good. God's got it, right? Let go and let God. The thing, the divine that we call, is always at work. But we're too busy, especially if you're in your sheet right now, you're angry or you're something, you have some emotion about someone or something, and you're not really in your own business. You're in theirs. Byron talks about it this way.
Your business. There's my business, your business, and God's business. That would be the God of your understanding. So if my daughter is in California and I'm here in New York City and she's in California running her life and I am standing here talking to you, but mentally I'm in California running her life. Okay, I mean, somebody's got to do it. She's not doing a good job at it. I mean, you just can't rest with a daughter like that. Okay, so there are 2 of us in California, and there's no one here for me. And so I'm sleepwalking. If you ever experience yourself as being lonely, just ask yourself, mentally, whose business are you in? Some of you may notice that you have never been in your business. There hasn't been a moment that you can identify where you have not been running the business of the world, which leaves you out. So if he is dishonest, he can afford it maybe. I can't. Where am I dishonest? That's my freedom. And people who are dishonest, if we're not deluded, in other words, we're coming out of a clear head, when people are dishonest, it's a blessing because they show us clearly in the very beginning who not to do business with. That's an asset. That's helpful.
As Maya Angelou says, when people show you who they are, believe them the first time. So we spend so much time worrying about other people's behavior rather than letting them be who they are for whatever reason they're doing it, and we're abandoning ourselves. And then we don't feel respected, and we don't feel seen, and we don't feel heard. Well, are we listening to ourselves? Are we listening to our own voice? There's an opportunity here. Look at your sheet and know. Look at your sheet. I'm angry, or someone read one that they feel comfortable just sharing. Yeah.
I'm frustrated. That all?
Yeah, well, the whole thing. If you can substitute the names, it's probably me.
Actually, it's not.
It's my husband.
I am frustrated with these two other people because they keep switching their plans.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So frustrated. So to do the work, we go ask ourselves. So whatever yours is on your sheet, is that true? Yes. Okay. Is it absolutely true that you're frustrated with these two people?
Now, am I interacting with the frustrated part or the because part? Or the whole thing?
So you believe, this is a great question because it drills down to a core. So I'm frustrated with these two people because they keep changing their plans. So hidden in that statement is a belief, right? Mm-hmm. I'm going to guess. The belief is they shouldn't change their plans.
They should not.
They should commit, right? They should commit. They should not change their plans, right? So there's the underlying belief, and this is an opportunity for you all to look at that. Whatever you wrote on that little sheet of paper, what's the underlying belief behind that statement? They shouldn't change their plans. Is that true?
No.
Right, so we skip question 2 because we've already gotten the no. And we go, so notice how you behave when you believe they shouldn't change their plans.
I shut down.
So, yeah. And how does that actually work out in the world?
They have no idea what I'm feeling because I don't share it.
And do you, any particular behavior towards these two people?
Silence.
Well, yeah, so. And you expect them to understand how you're feeling?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. We're insane. and we pretend it's other people's fault. So we all do this, right? We give somebody the silent treatment and that'll show them, that'll get them to change their behavior, right? I'll just ignore them and then that'll work in my, and when it doesn't, and it only gets worse, and we sit there doing, festering, right? Waiting for them to apologize for this thing they don't know they did to you. Right? We feel justified. So who would you be, Jenny, without the thought they should not change?
Free.
Free. Free to do what?
Make other plans.
Make other plans.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah. Or believe them.
Yeah.
When they indicate that they're not going to be reliable like that. You're expecting them to be reliable in a way that they're telling you really clearly they can't. For whatever reason. We don't know why. We can make it up, we can guess, but we're just making it up.
When they show who they are, believe them the first time.
Yeah. So
That's freedom.
right, that's total freedom. And then the next part of it is, so you asked the 4 questions and we got to the freedom part, wherever it is for you, we got to the freedom part. It's like, oh, I don't have to keep doing this. I don't have to keep playing this game. I'm free. I'm at peace when I'm not expecting them to do something else. Right? And then we get to the turnarounds. So that your statement, your belief was they shouldn't change their plans. Right? What could you turn that around to be?
I don't think I want to say they should change their plans, but
Well,
They have-
they should is a possible turnaround. So what we do is we examine that. They should change their plan. Can you give me any logical reason that they should change their plans?
They have information I don't.
Yeah. So it may be something very important to them, the reason they're changing their plans. So what you do with that is you're like opening up a place of compassion. Oh, it may be true that they should change their plan. And then, what's another turnaround?
I shouldn't judge them for changing their plans?
No, we keep it on this first statement is, they shouldn't change,
Okay.
right? Change it to yourself.
They are allowed to change their plans.
Yes.
They have freedom to change their plans.
Well, duh. Can you stop them?
No.
No, right? Oh, so, but what about you? I shouldn't
I shouldn't
change more.
change my plans?
Do you ever change your plans?
Yeah.
But they shouldn't, right? I shouldn't change my plans. Is that true? Can you be an instance where you shouldn't change your plans?
No.
No, right. But you expect them to hold to that other stuff. So maybe the turnaround is they should change their plans. I should change my plans. That's the wholeness of the turnaround, right? Does our daughter need something?
Speaking of changing,
Then we should all change our diapers. Thank you for that, JD. Thanks for playing. So when we can live in... Roma saves the day again. We can live in the present moment.
We haven't begun to tap into what we are capable of as long as fear is in the way. And if you want a little fear and terror, get a future, just a nanosecond is a big dose.
When we can stay in the present moment, we can stay in, oh, right now I have everything I need. But when we do try and think about a future, we plan a future, a lot of our fears will come to bite us, literally to kick us back to where we think we belong. It's an amazing process to go, to be able to write down those thoughts. Oh, I shouldn't do that. I'm going to go broke. I'm going to not make it. I won't be able to pay the mortgage. I will do this, and yada, yada, yada. That voice in our head or sits on our shoulder and tells us all those things. Well, to examine those beliefs, is that true? Is that true that I am not going to be able to pay my mortgage if I pursue my dreams? Of course not. You can write it down on a piece of paper. I believe I'm going to go broke. And see it for what it really is and let that thought go. Who would you be without the thought, fill in the blank, I don't have enough money, I'm too old, it's not for me, maybe in the next life, it's too expensive in San Francisco. Who would you be without the thought it's too expensive in San Francisco? What would you do? Right? We're all sitting here finding some way to make San Francisco work for us. Who would you be without those thoughts? That's the opening, the possibility, the greatness of this process. There's one other video, but since I did my tap dance routine, I'm not going to show it to you today, but I'm going to talk about it briefly. I'm going to summarize it. This gentleman, in working with Katie, came up with the thing that his wife complains too much. And writing it down, my wife complains too much, and going through the whole worksheet and realizing that it's not true, that she's just asking for his help. She's actually asking for his advice. He reported in the middle of the worksheet, in the middle of the workshop, he came back and he had had a phone conversation with him, and he was like, oh my God! She called and she was just worried about me, and we had this great conversation, and I was able to be totally present for her. I wasn't judging her in the moment, and it was really cool and intimate. And Katie looks at him and says, yeah, that sounds like really sexy. And he says, yes, I'm gonna go home. And have some nice intimate time with my wife. Those thoughts that your spouse, your partner shouldn't be the way they are keeps you from experiencing them. Keeps you from enjoying the true intimacy of being with them. And then we wonder why our relationship isn't working. Well, when we get rid of the prejudice in our own minds, there won't be prejudice in the world. When we release all the attacks and the judgments of our own thinking, there won't be violence in the world, especially in our world. When we stop attacking, we will stop feeling attacked. Right? Our third principle, that what you give out comes back to you. And yet we won't look at it. It's someone else's fault. Someone else has to change, not me. I go to church. I'm spiritual, but not religious. Right? I'm not one of them. That's an attack. When we can sit in this in a new way, when we can step up and be who we're really meant to be, all things are possible. Yeah. Let's have peace on earth by being open to our change, to being open to changing who we really are.